This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The Prime Minister and Indian Foreign Secretary hold bilateral discussions. Export sector registers growth amid the pandemic. Minister Uday Ganmanpilla says that unnecessary fears should not be entertained about oil tanks. A proposal submitted to the Cabinet to establish a joint gas company. Fines increased on errant traders. In news overseas, Lakhimpur Kheri in India is tense after 8 die in farmers' protests. In sports news, Sri Lanka plays the second match in the 13th South Asian Football Championship tonight. Local stories in detail. Foreign Secretary of India Harshvardhan Shringla called on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees this morning. During the meeting, the two delegations discussed a number of sectors of mutual cooperation, including the further strengthening of bilateral relations, ongoing projects, tourism and promotion of Buddhist ties. Prime Minister Rajapaksa appreciated Prime Minister Modi's initiative to promote Buddhist ties. Secretary Shringla said it was a priority area of Prime Minister Modi. Secretary Shringla said India is also looking forward to receiving the first pilgrim's flight from Sri Lanka to Kushinagar Airport after it was upgraded as an international airport. Another topic of discussion centered around the resumption of tourism. With the vaccine drives in both countries progressing well, Secretary Shringla spoke of the importance of resuming connectivity. The Indian Foreign Secretary is in Sri Lanka on a 4-day official visit. Minister Bandula Gunawadana says that the country has been able to earn a satisfactory income amid the pandemic. During a media briefing in Colombo today, he pointed out that a country has to face serious financial crisis if the export sector collapses. He pointed out that plans have been made in the Vistas of Prosperity policy statement to uplift export sector, but COVID pandemic had serious impact on this sector. He said private sector exporters have achieved significant growth amid the challenges. Tea exports have increased from $805 million to $892 million. He said that Export Development Board and Trade Ministry have actively contributed to solve problems of exporters. He added that steps have been taken to diversify exports by establishing export production villages. Minister Uday Ganmanpilla says that unnecessary fears should not be entertained about oil tanks. He mentioned this replying to a question raised in Parliament today by Samagi Janabalawegaya MP Hesha Vithanage. He said it is strategically important to protect oil tanks. It is also important to maintain an oil storage facility in an area such as Kilinochchi in the northern province. Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said that bioliquid fertilizer will be provided in future to paddy farmers. All farmers will be developed using modern technology. He said in Parliament that 28 varieties of seed are expected to be imported. Steps will be taken to completely stop importing of chilies and onions. Minister Uday Ganmanpilla has submitted a proposal to the Cabinet to establish a joint gas company with Mineral Oil Company. The decision has been taken by considering the difficulties faced by the people recently due to the gas shortage. Speaker Mahinda Abewardena informed the Parliament today that he signed the Consumer Affairs Authority Amendment Draft Bill. Accordingly, the bill has come into effect. It was passed in Parliament recently. The bill aims to increase fines that can be imposed against traders who sell goods for more than controlled prices. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with the local stories, Director of the Tertiary Medical Services Division of the Health Ministry, Dr. Ayanti Karunaratne, says that 90,821 have been treated under the home-based care program. 6,035 patients are getting the service at present. The World Health Organization has provided the assistance to implement the program. The infected persons can directly register for the program by calling on hotline 1390. Chairman of Milk Powder Importers Association, Lakshman Veerasurya, says that he believes price amendments for milk powder will be announced when informing future cabinet decisions. He said that they hope to get milk powder at the harbour release, or else there can be a milk powder shortage in the country during the next few months. Mr. Veerasurya said that he expects the government to take speedy measures in this regard. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The Prime Minister and Indian Foreign Secretary hold bilateral discussions. Export sector registers growth amid the pandemic. Minister Uday Ganmanpilla says that unnecessary fears should not be entertained about oil tanks. A proposal submitted to the Cabinet to establish a joint gas company. Fines increased on errant traders. That ends the local news.
Just as love and freedom are important to a child, so too is knowledge. Encouraging their pursuit of knowledge is our most important responsibility as parents.
Sri Lanka Insurance Minimutu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection, and a range of additional covers. Minimutu education plans for children who dare to dream. Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, Asian Development Bank Country Director Dr. Chen Chen has stated that the Southern Expressway is the best in the South Asian region. He also said so during last week's meeting between ADB Director General for South Asia Department Kenichi Yokoyama and Chief Government Whip Highways Minister Johnston Fernando at the Ministry of Highways. During the meeting, Minister Fernando told the ADB top officials that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has a plan to build an interconnected network of expressways, ensuring the road connectivity linking the north, east, south and western regions of the country. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
The validity period of driving licenses has been temporarily extended. The extraordinary gazette has been issued on the 29th of last month. Accordingly, the validity period of driving licenses, which expired on the 30th of last month, has been extended by 12 months. The validity period of driving licenses, which will expire on 31st March next year, has been extended by 6 months. That ends Watch Light.
World News.
Headlines of the world news. Lakhimpur Kheri in India is tense after 8 die in farmers' protests. Evergrande company set to update market on major transaction. Billie Eilish headlines Glastonbury Festival in 2022. Security has been tightened in a northern Indian town after 8 people, including 4 protesting farmers, died yesterday. Violence broke out in Lakhimpur Kheri district of Uttar Pradesh state during a protest against agricultural reforms. Photos and videos on social media showed vehicles set on fire as people lay covered in blood. Opposition leaders have been stopped from visiting the families of the victims as the situation remains tense. Chinese property giant Evergrande's shares have been suspended as investors await a statement about its future. The crisis at the world's most indebted property developer has triggered fears that its potential collapse could send shockwaves through global markets. The firm said the trade halt came ahead of an announcement containing inside information about a major transaction. Billie Eilish has been announced as the first headliner for the 2022 Glastonbury Festival. The pop star first hinted on the news on Instagram, where she posed in a Glastonbury hoodie with the caption 2022. Glastonbury organizer Emily Eves later confirmed the booking and said the 20-year-old would be the youngest solo headliner in our history. To conclude the world news, the headlines again. Lakhimpur Kheri in India is tense after 8 die in farmers' protests. Evergrande company set to update market on major transaction. Billie Eilish headlines Glastonbury Festival in 2022. That ends the world news.
And now in development news.
Taking a look at development news, INSEE Cement Company has commenced growing again a mangrove forest about 1 hectare at Aruvakkaru, Serakkuliya Lagoon in the Puttalam district. The company expects to plant about 2,000 saplings in the first phase of the project and to attend to other environmental conservation activities. Director of Human Resource of INSEE Cement Company, Chandana Vijayanama, said that his organization has launched several programs to minimize impact on climate change and carbon emission. That ends development news.
Sports news.
And on sports news, the second match of Sri Lanka on the 13th South Asian Football Championship will take place today. Sri Lanka team will play against Nepal at 9:30 p.m. in Sri Lanka time. Nepal is in the 168th place and Sri Lanka is in the 205th place in international football rankings. And on mixed martial arts, former champion Khabib Nurmagomedov does not think anything could tempt him back to the UFC after revealing he agreed with his mother to retire following his beloved father's death. Nurmagomedov, 33, is considered one of the great MMA fighters of all time and retired last October with a 29-0 unbeaten professional record. Just 4 months previously, his father and mentor Abdul Manap had passed away. Nurmagomedov said he retired at the perfect time and it was a good decision. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Emirates is joining Sri Lankans to celebrate the easing of travel restrictions by the British government with the launch of special fares to 5 destinations in the United Kingdom. Going on sale from today, these special fares will be valid for travel to London, Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle and Glasgow up to 31st March 2022, provided tickets are booked before 17th October. This is applicable to all classes of travel. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Taking a look at economic news, the delegation led by Minister Prasanna Ranatunga left the island yesterday to attend the annual International French Tourism Trade Exhibition. The exhibition will commence tomorrow in Paris. It will continue until Friday. It is the main tourism trade exhibition in France covering commerce, commercial travel and entertainment. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern, southern and northern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in these areas. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere. Wind speed can be increased up to 50 kilometers per hour at times over the island, particularly in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northwestern, southern and western provinces. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The Prime Minister and Indian Foreign Secretary hold bilateral discussions. Export sector registers growth amid the pandemic. Minister Uday Ganmanpilla says that unnecessary fears should not be entertained about oil tanks. A proposal submitted to the Cabinet to establish a joint gas company. Fines increased on errant traders. In news overseas, Lakhimpur Kheri in India is tense after 8 dies in farmers' protests. In sports news, Sri Lanka plays the second match in the 13th South Asian Football Championship tonight. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.